In this episode, you'll learn 8 more common colloquial expressions so that you can speak English in a more natural way. Welcome to
Aprender Inglés con Reza y Craig.
Hello, I'm Craig.
And my name's Reza.
And with nearly 50 years of teaching English between us, Reza and I will help you improve your English and take it to the next level. How are you, mate?
I'm fine, thanks. I'm feeling good and I'm ready to go with our next podcast as ever. And you?
Yeah, you're looking good. It's good to see you. I see you've had a haircut. Congratulations.
Yep.
When are they going to finish it?
Any day now. Yeah. Only I can't find the hairdresser. He seems to have disappeared.
Yeah, well, maybe he's got more than one job. We start this week with a voice message from our friend Danielle from Mexico, who originally gave us the idea for episode 368 about anybody, anyone, nobody, no one, somebody, someone, everybody, everyone. So if you haven't listened to that in answer to Danielle's question, go to inglespodcast.com/368. And here's Danielle again.
Hello, Reza. Hello, Craig. This is Daniel from Guadalajara, Mexico again. I want to tell you that I am excited because you answered me my previous voice message. I never thought that could happen. Anyways, in this time, I'd like if you could give an explanation about the difference between as well and also, and besides the difference between perhaps and maybe. Thank you for your marvelous job, guys. Until the next time.
Thank you for your message, Danielle. One small thing. Reza, did you hear his pronunciation of also? He said also.
Yes, the audio quality wasn't fantastic, so it might be that. But yeah, I think the vowel sound could be a bit better.
Because also sounds strange to me. That's not common pronunciation, is it? So also, Danielle, will be the pronunciation.
Another thing I noticed about your pronunciation, Danielle, I think you got the stress wrong on the word perhaps. It sounded to me like you were saying perhaps. You were like stressing the first syllable. It's hard to say. Maybe it was just the audio quality, but I just wanted to clarify that the stress, the strong syllable, is the second one, perhaps.
And we have spoken about perhaps and maybe before. If you go to episode 37, Danielle, you'll see the episode titled Probability Adverbs. Certainly, maybe, and perhaps. So inglespodcast.com/37 will take you there, and that will answer your questions on perhaps and maybe. What about to and also, Reza? I think we've spoken about those also as well.
Yes. We have also spoken about them in a previous episode. Way back in episode 22, if you go back to inglespodcast.com/22, we did an episode on the words to and also. The word as well, of course, is similar to those, isn't it, Craig?
Yes, it's very similar to T-O-O, and also, but it goes at the end of a clause. For example, you need to say Reza teaches English, Craig does as well. It's not correct to say as well Craig does. So as well will always come at the end of the clause.
And the words as well are more common in speaking than in writing because they're more informal. So it might be common to say something like, I'll have the fish, please, and some chips as well. But it wouldn't be so common to write that. In fact, what probably has happened there is that first the person has said, I'll have the fish, please, and then only after saying that, they think, that they would also like the chips. And that's when we often put as well at the end. So you can see why it's more common in spoken English, because spoken English isn't as well prepared as written English. So you're more likely to hear spoken, "I'll have the fish, please, and some chips as well," than to see it written.
The focus for this podcast, we're going to look at 8 more common colloquial expressions. Now, we have spoken about colloquial expressions before. If you go to inglespodcast.com/371, we did a part 1 of this series, and part 2 was episode 373. Reza, can you get a bit closer to the microphone because you sound a little bit low? The volume's a bit low.
Gotcha. How's that?
What do you mean, gotcha?
Gotcha. I understand you and I'm reacting to show that I understand you. Gotcha. It's really got you, but it comes out as gotcha. And people often will write it the way it sounds. In fact, often, no, people usually write it the way it sounds. Gotcha. Gotcha.
So that's our first expression, gotcha, an informal way of saying I understand you. You can also say got it. Got it. Now be careful of the pronunciation, because with got and it often joins together. So it's not got it, it's got it.
Here's our second expression. I'm going to give you an example. 99% traced back to Ecuador, top quality cacao. That's what I call chocolate.
That's what I call chocolate too.
You'd agree, Craig? Yes, for sure.
Absolutely.
So that's what I call. Plus, it can be a noun like chocolate, or that's what I call a car. Ferrari, that's what I call a car. 30 days touring around South America, staying in 5-star hotels, that's what I call a holiday. That's what I call music. That's what I call love. So it has to be a noun, or it could be an ing. That's what I call living. Working 2 hours a day, getting paid a fortune, and the rest of the day doing what you like, that's what I call living. Or I could add a bit, that's what I call living the dream. Or that's what I call taking it easy. Or you can add an adjective. Oh, that horror film, I can't sleep now. It was so bad. Now that's what I call scary. I've seen a lot of horror films in my time, but that one, I can't sleep now. That's what I call scary. Or somebody walking down the street wearing no clothes at all except a pair of yellow gloves. Now that's what I call weird.
Speaking of clothes, what you're wearing at the moment, that's what I call a shirt.
Oh, thank you.
Very nice. So do you think in Spanish you might say something, if you're a Spanish speaker, like vaya que algo? Vaya que camisa?
Yeah.
Vaya que. Now that's what I call.
Exactly, that's what I'd say. And sometimes people add the word now. I think Craig just added it. It doesn't really matter. That's what I call, or now, that's what I call. The word now is optional.
Our third expression is see if I care. And it's often said when you really do care. Do you agree with that? But you kind of pretend that you don't care?
Sometimes, yeah.
That it is important to you?
Yeah. Or somebody's done something that's annoyed you, but you don't want to admit you're annoyed.
We had a cup of coffee before we started recording this podcast, and there were some chocolate biscuits, some homemade chocolate biscuits on the plate, and Reza started eating all of them, and he was just about to take the last biscuit, and I said, "Okay, Reza, go ahead and eat all the chocolate biscuits, see if I care." That's not true, that's just an example, he would never do that. But see if I care is expressing annoyance, and really you do care, but you want the other person to think that you don't. Another example? Call your mother and tell her I said she's a nosy old cow, as if I care. Or, like I care. I don't care. Go ahead and do it. So all of these 3 examples you could use, the meaning is very similar. See if I care, like I care, or as if I care. And it means do what you want, I don't care, although maybe you do. Another example, Reza, my wife is so immature. I was watching a Mickey Mouse cartoon yesterday on TV and she came in the room and changed the channel. That's so immature. And I said, see if I care, change the channel.
Yes, but clearly he did care because Craig does like his Mickey Mouse.
And notice the intonation. See if I care. Go ahead. Do it. As if I care.
Okay, Craig, so you missed a little bit of the Mickey Mouse film, but it's not the end of the world, is it?
The end of the world? You mean the zombie apocalypse?
No, not that exactly. But not the end of the world means that there's worse things could happen. So it's always used as a negative. We say it's not the end of the world. So, yeah, Craig, it was upsetting that you couldn't see all of the film with Mickey Mouse, but it's not the end of the world.
No, it wasn't. It's not the end of the world.
You know, worse things could happen. Life will continue. For example, imagine I say, I'm sorry, I broke the only thing you had, this precious object, to remind you of your grandmother. But it's not the end of the world. I mean, it was just a piece of incredibly expensive marble.
Of great sentimental value.
And also valued at £25,000. But it's not the end of the world, is it?
No, it's not the end of the world. We'll live. We'll live. Reza, are you worried? Are you concerned that maybe next year we might lose our jobs?
I am concerned. Things are not going as well in Spain as they could be. Like every other country, it's been badly hit by the COVID pandemic. But you know what? The world won't end. It's not the end of the world. In other words, there are worse things that could happen, or life goes on. It's not like I've been told I'm going to die of cancer. So, you know, the world won't end.
And the world won't end if you're getting married and it rains on the day of the wedding. Imagine your wedding is next weekend and the weather forecast is rain. So, well, yeah, that's not the perfect situation, but it won't be the end of the world. Everyone will still have a wonderful time and you'll get married. You'll still be happy. The next expression we have is mainly used in American English, but you do hear it a lot in films and on TV, so I think it's worth mentioning, and it's I feel you, F-E-E-L. Now, if you say I feel you, that doesn't mean that you're physically touching the other person, does it, Reza?
No, in fact, that would be different grammar. You would say, I'm feeling you. Imagine a doctor wants to know if the patient is responsive. They might say, I'm feeling your arm, but I can't notice any marks. I can't notice anything strange when I'm feeling your arm.
Or if the patient says, doctor, I can't feel my legs, and the doctor says, that's because I've cut your arms off.
But if you say, I feel you in the present simple rather than the present continuous, I'm feeling you. So I feel you present simple is to understand and on a deep level or a personal level to understand the person. There's similar expressions, Craig. Would you say I get it is kind of similar? I get it. I feel you. I get it.
Yeah, but
Not as deep though.
Not as deep, exactly. Let's imagine a situation where, well, now people are blaming social media platforms like Twitter for racism and racist comments. And I think we need to solve this problem not by criticizing social media, but by better education in schools. And you might say,
I get it. Or I might say, I hear you. That's another common one. Or I might also say, I know where you're coming from.
but would you say I feel you?
No, because it's not a personal thing. So for me, I feel you is more like I have a personal kind of attachment with it. Would you say I feel you for that?
No, I wouldn't. And I'm not sure I would say it if it was very personal because I'm a British English speaker. And when I hear it said by people living in North America, it's often a kind of yeah, I feel you, bruh. I feel you, brother. I really feel you. So it doesn't come naturally to me to say that, but I do hear it very often. I think I'm too English to say, I feel you, mate. It doesn't roll off the tongue. It's not a natural expression for me.
sixth colloquial expression is a very common one in spoken English. Sorry, no can do. It means I can't do it.
For example, if your boss asks you to work on Saturday, are you free on Saturday? Can you work?
I would have to say no can do, I'm afraid.
So, sorry, no can do is, I can't do it. I'm sorry, that's not going to work. Sorry, no can do. It's not possible. Imagine that you ask your boss to have a week off next week and your boss says, no can do, I'm afraid. I need the whole team to work next week. So it's not possible. No can do. Reza, can I borrow your car tomorrow?
Sorry, no can do, Craig. I need it myself.
Oh, that's okay. No worries.
There's another expression which perhaps isn't exactly the same. It's a bit more extreme. It means that you can't do something, but more because you don't want to do it. It's very extreme. So Craig said, can I borrow your car tomorrow? But imagine a more extreme situation. Craig, would you lend your brand new Ferrari to that 18-year-old driver?
No way, Jose.
So he's saying more than no can do. He's saying, no way, Jose.
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. He's not prepared to risk that in any way. Even if he could, he wouldn't do it. Because an 18-year-old and a Ferrari is not a good mixture generally.
And I said Jose not because the person's name is Jose. It's because British English speakers use Jose because it has a similar sound to no way. Jose. So those two words kind of go together, they rhyme. So it's very common to hear that expression said by native speakers. No way, Jose.
Actually, that's one of my favorite colloquial expressions in English. Maybe because Jose is Spanish. You know what my other one is? I know it's nothing to do with this, but I just want to mention it. No problemo. I love that expression because I know it's wrong. As I said recently, I have passed my C2 Spanish now. I know it's problema. So I love the way that people say, more in America than British, they say, no problemo. And we put an O at the end, not an A. We can't even get it right. No problemo. I love it because it's just so bad. We can't even get the right masculine, feminine ending. No problemo, my friend. I love that expression.
If you want to sound enthusiastic about something, one way to do it is with our next expression, go for it. Go for it. Reza, I'm thinking of leaving my job, handing in my notice, which means resigning, and going freelance, working for myself.
Go for it, Craig.
You think so?
Go for it. That means don't even think, don't hesitate. I could also say, do it. Just do it. For example, Craig, I'm not sure if I should compete in the marathon.
Do it, man. You're fit enough. Just go for it.
Craig's been very, very flattering. If you saw my belly, mi barriga, you would not say that I look fit enough.
I'm thinking of shaving my head and going bald.
Go for it.
You think so?
Do it.
It's a good look?
It's a good look. Do it.
I'll do it. Our last one today is in this day and age, which isn't commonly used by English students. We tend to hear in our classrooms nowadays or these days, especially in speaking tests. Students often say these days or nowadays, but you can also say in this day and age, which basically means now. Can you think of an example?
Here's a typical kind of sentence you might hear. In this day and age, computers are an essential part of getting work done. Now, I could say nowadays, and I could say these days, but for me, by using the expression in this day and age, it's implying that, come on, you've got to be modern, you've got to be contemporary. How could you not use computers? The expression in this day and age implies that everybody's doing it this way now. You know, years ago, perhaps people didn't, but you can't not do it this way now. In this day and age, computers are an essential part of getting work done. Maybe they weren't 20 years ago, but in this day and age, they are.
And it's hard for me to believe that we can send spaceships to the moon and to Mars, but we can't find a solution for global warming. In this day and age, I can't believe it.
Yes, and it's unbelievable that in this day and age, People are still dying from hunger. Come on, in this day and age, these modern times, with all the modern developments we've got, people are still dying from hunger. So this is the expression, in this day and age, it has a sense of it's time that things changed or things are changing kind of meaning to it. In Spanish, by the way, it's very easy to translate. It's hoy en día in Spanish.
So those are our 8 expressions for today. Let's go back quickly and review them. Then the first one, number 1, was gotcha or got it, which means I understand you, I understand what you say.
The second one is that's what I call, or now that's what I call, plus a noun or an ing verb or an adjective.
Now that's what I call English. See if I care, or like I care, do what you want, I don't care, as if I care. Go ahead.
The fourth one was, it's not the end of the world, or the world won't end, to say that something may not be good, but it's not that bad.
I feel you, brother, which means I understand on a deep personal level.
The sixth one was, sorry, no can do, which isn't normally the correct grammar. You would normally say, I can't do it, but for this fixed expression, we say, no can do.
Next was go for it. Just do it, as Nike says. Is it Nike or Nike?
I've heard both. I accept both pronunciations because I'm not quite sure which one is the official one.
I've always said Nike, but just go for it.
And the last one we said was, in this day and age, to talk about nowadays or these days.
And we think that in this day and age, you should be practicing your English. So just go for it. Why not send us a voice message? You can do that by going to speakpipe.com. That's speakpipe.com/Ingles podcast. Emails, Reza?
Well, we really would like you to send us an audio message, but if you don't, it's not the end of the world. You could write to us. You could get Craig at inglespodcast.com or me, belfastreza@gmail.com.
And in this day and age, you don't need to go to a language school to learn English. You feel me? You can visit our online store. That's at store.mansioningles.net.
As ever, we'd like to thank all of those who are helping us by supporting us through the Patreon scheme. That's Patreon, Patreon. And what they do is, for as little as a $1.20 donation per month, the 20 cents is to cover the VAT tax, you get instant access to recent audio transcriptions. It's totally voluntary. You don't have to. And if you don't
see
want
if we
to,
care.
see if we care.
We don't care.
Okay. Well, we're very helpful. It'd be very helpful if you did, but we don't care if you don't. The important thing is that you enjoy the podcast. But we'd love to give a big thanks to all those people. But we can't. We don't have enough time. But we do have enough time to thank our most recent sponsors, who are
Edgar Velandia, Ricardo Sendulski, Diana Carolina Martinez Mendez, Floriano Blanco Rodriguez, and Isaac Baena Garcia. Thank you very much, and thank you to all of our wonderful Patreon supporters. Next week, Reza?
Next week, we've got part 2 of intensifiers. So we'll be talking about expressions like strongly disagree, absolutely amazing, highly likely, and other similar intensifiers.
And if you enjoyed this podcast, please tell your friends so that we can have more listeners and widen our audience. So if you feel us, let your friends know, bruh. Until next time, it's goodbye from me.
And it's bye-bye from me.
The music in this podcast is by Pitts. The track is called See You Later.